Welcome all again. The Yuva Shakti giving all powers to our Vaya initiatives, and today we have a very good panel for climate change. On behalf of Vaya Bhopal, I myself, the chapter chair for Bhopal, take this privilege to welcome the Yuva Shakti from Pune, Snigdha Singh, Simran from Dehradun, Rajat from Delhi, and Mansi and Ria from host city Bhopal, along with Akshita, who is the Yuva lead for Bhopal, and now she's taking place of Shreya, who is not keeping well for climate change, Yuva coordinator. We'll have Geet joining in for in between for some time. She's heading towards some important function. So welcome all, the Yuva future, and let's talk about the changes, the climate change in this, especially around pandemic. And over to you, Akshita. It's your show, and thank you all for joining in.
Thank you, sir.
Akshita, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, a very good morning to everyone, all the viewers, and all the panelists. I highly welcome the panelists and, most importantly, Anuj Garg sir, our Yuva YI Bhopal chair. I really welcome you for being the backbone of the climate change vertical. It is said that there's one issue that will define the contours of this century more dramatically than any other. That is the climate change threat to this world. So we all need to look into this matter. And since we have a women packed session of panelists today, so we are totally looking forward to it. So first of all, we have Simran Chajra by YI. She's from Dehradun, and I would love you to please express your views on the climate change.
Thank you, Akshita. Hi everyone, this is Simran here. Let's start talking about the future of climate change. Well, why are we talking about it in the first place? Is because we can't simply just pretend that climate change is not a true thing and see our ends coming sooner. Uh, our impending climate doom is real, and we can't afford to admit it anymore. Let me give you a glimpse why. Predictions for future global climate says there will be changes in the precipitation pattern. That is, there will be more of heat, more of evaporation, more of water vapor, and hence more of rains. While it looks good on the surface, in reality, it's a disaster. This change in pattern won't be uniform. They'll cause severe winters and summers. Would you enjoy whirling your feet on the ground? Second is melting of glaciers. It's very obvious, right? We still have snow and ice melting away, and they'll continue to do so for decades to come, causing floods with deaths. Think of this: less of fresh water to use, deeper saline oceans, and warmer water. All this is causing tsunamis and whole of marine life sacrifices just to see a human committing a mistake. Yeah, that's what we are planning for by pretending things are fine. Third is rising sea levels. I know I just said that, but melting ice is not the only reason for rising sea levels. Thermal expansion of ocean water also results in increase of these limits. Ocean water expands as it gets warm. That is, it will increase in volume if the temperature of water in ocean increases. And we already have seen a rise of 8 inches in sea levels. Now, this still might not hurt you if you know 50 to 80% of Earth's oxygen comes from the oceans. Rising level of water might produce more oxygen and might help us eradicate CO2 emissions. Sadly, this is not true. This dangerously rising ocean level will have acidic ocean water. The ocean will act as a buffer against climate changes by taking some of the excess heat and CO2 from the atmosphere. Looking fine for a short term, this will be destructive in the long term. And carbon dioxide in ocean will form weak carbonic acids in greater quantities. Well, now next on our list is changing severe weather. Hurricanes, typhoons, and other tropical cyclones. We will take you to the global warming. Warm water results in more immense storms, means there will be a larger number of powerful and destructive storms if water becomes warmer. And lastly, our favorite one, the temperature rise. The one big reason to all our problems. Temperature will rise, and our dear Earth can possibly see a hype of 2 degrees Celsius. 2 degrees Celsius might look like a small number to you, but as we put more light on it, we realize it's catastrophic. The first glimpse of climate change came in 1988 summers, and we started working on it 10 years later. Our goal to possibly save our Earth has been clear for more than 30 years now, and despite the earnest efforts, we have made essentially no progress towards it. So here we already stand in worse and are waiting for even worse to happen. Now, Homo sapiens who are tactless right now will be ideals of tomorrow, witnessing the radical destabilization of life on Earth. Our planet's climate can get so bad then that in another 30 years from now, uh, the it will become dramatically unstable. Like the climate can destroy entire ecosystems. Imagine this: whole of marshlands and Maldives will vanish. The coral reefs will wipe out. Livable land will reduce either by floods or permanent droughts. There will be economic, agricultural, as well as population crisis everywhere. This is what some of the future of climate change will look like if we don't change. It's not that time is an auction. We do have the brains to slow down this climate change process, but do we have the will? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simran. So while you were talking about such grave concerns, we have Geetna Akpal ma'am joining us, the Yuva Chair for Bhopal. We welcome you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining in, and we would love to hear those precious words out of your mouth. So please go ahead and inspire us.
Thank you, Akshata. Thank you so much for a warm welcome. Good morning to you all. So, I know Yuvas are backbone of the nation, and the environment to be greener and cleaner, Yuva plays an important role. And knowledge is power, what you all are doing. So you all are sharing the knowledge. I love the way you all are working. I'm so proud the way you all are working and putting your views and thoughts on this platform. And this is such a good platform for this era, for this scenario. Like we all from all the national chapters, we are here together. Otherwise, we won't be able to get in touch with each other like this on national talk. But this is such a good platform. We are utilizing this time in such a good manner. So I just welcome you all and thank you all for putting your views and thoughts on this such a interesting topic. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in and putting your views and case studies. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, Simran, I'll have to say that you've put up some very, very important points and some grave concern that we all need to look into. Upcoming next is Snigdha Singh from Pune, who definitely, I'm sure, has some crucial points to put up. So please, Snigdha, go ahead. You're on mute.
Okay, again, a very good morning to everybody present in the meeting. My name is Snigdha Singh, as Akshita said, and I'm a law student. I'm from Bhopal only, but I live in Pune. And the topic, impending climate doom, is certainly a topic to which a lot of people pay attention on a regular basis, but very few people are actually contributing to its betterment. Like we are experiencing record-breaking temperatures around the world. We know what is happening to our planet. We know what we need to do, and somewhere we know how to do it. But sadly, the ambition of our action is nowhere near where it needs to be. Like nothing less than our future and the fate of humankind depends on how we rise to the climate challenge. Like talking about India, the government of India launched National Action Plan on Climate Change (NEPCC) on 30th June 2008. The government of India outlined many missions, national missions on climate change. These include National Solar Mission, National Enhanced Energy Efficiency, Sustainable Habitat, Water Mission, Green India, like and many more government initiatives were taken in the past. But not even 30% of the population is aware about all these initiatives. like creating awareness is one of the most important tasks we in hand, like because for some issue, because for some this issue doesn't even exist, and even if they're acquainted with the about the problem the earth is facing, they don't know how they can make any change towards the issue. Like they don't know how to make any change. Awareness is always important, and for that advertising is also crucial. Like jo dikhta hai wahi bikta hai wala cheez. We all know about the campaign Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and the whole campaign did actually very good, like remarkably good, because of the advertising only. So awareness is a very important point. So I wanted to mention this point. And like when people are not even aware about the seriousness of the issue, and they don't know how they can improvise the conditions, if it's not doom and gloom, then I don't know what is. Like dinosaurs didn't believe in climate change either, and where are they now? So let there be no doubt about the urgency of the crisis. And we need to put the brake on deadly greenhouse gas emissions and drive climate action. We need to rapidly shift away from a dependence on fossil fuels. We need to replace them with clean energy from water, wind, and sun. We need to embrace the circular economy and resource efficiency, like how we heat, cool, and light our buildings will need to be rethought so we waste less energy. All this isn't easy, obviously, like it's very tough, but it needs to be done. And this is exactly where this conversation can become exciting, because so much of the conversation on climate change focuses on the doom and gloom. Of course, like warnings are necessary, but fear will not get the job done. So there is nothing to lose from acting, everything that there is everything to gain. It is necessary for all the nations to adapt these things, and like for the richest ones to help the vulnerable ones. And enormous benefits await humankind if we can rise to the climate challenge. Many of these benefits are economic. Like I've heard the argument many times that the tackling climate change is very expensive and could harm economic growth. In fact, the opposite is true. Like we are experiencing huge economic losses due to change. By 2030, the loss of productivity caused by a hotter world will cause loss of $2 trillion, like which is more than 2 lakh crores. And so not only would a shift to renewable energy save money, it would also create new jobs, waste less water, boost food production, and clean the polluted air that is killing us. Like now there are still many who think that the challenge is too great, but I deeply disagree. Humankind has confronted and overcome immense challenges before, like challenges that have required us to work together and to put aside division and differences to fight a common threat. And like this is how we got the independence in the first place, by acting together. And it is how we can together heal the ozone hole. We still don't have a life on Mars, so we need to treat this planet like it's the only home. We need to stop treating this planet like we have another one to live. And that's all I had to say. Thank you, Akshita. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Snigdha. Amazing points put up by you. I couldn't help but notice the difference between global warming and the contrast that you said between global warming and especially climate
Exactly.
change. We mostly confuse these two, right? See, global warming is something when we just address the problem, while climate change is something when we
Like
actually
we have to
realize that
act.
it's affecting us. So I really appreciate you on that point. Absolutely. Next, we have Rajat Singh from Delhi. Since you're from Delhi, I am pretty sure that you have some very strong points to put forward because Delhi is dealing with an intense amount of pollution, and I'm sure that you're ready and all set with the solutions that you've got. Please go on, Rajat.
So thank you, Akshita, and hello and very good morning to everyone here. So myself Rajat, and I am a Yuva member and a student at Hindu College, University of Delhi. So today I will be sharing some of my ideas regarding the future of the climate change. Though the topic seems to be little bit pessimistic in itself, but we will have to counter some of the things which can make our future really well. So beginning with this, I would like to say that since we all know that there's a change in the nature, and climate change is also a natural phenomena, and it used to happen from billions of years. But recently, if we talk about nearly from the industrial revolution, how the things have been revolutionized, and we have seen in the last 250 years or something like that, that it is actually the human induced climate change which is affecting us. So if we talk about this, then we are actually in order to making our lifestyle better, we are actually traded with our lives, and that is really disgusting thing for us to live in the future. And in the race of being developed in the race of being developed citizens, we are actually not having those proper measures to counter the climate change. So, beginning with this, I would like to say that being a student of political science, I would say that climate change is actually bigger than election or re-election, because it's all about life and death. So, really, it's a matter of concern. And now, let's go back in the history. If you look in the year 1824, it was Joseph Fourier who actually discovered that how greenhouse effect is actually very beneficial to the Earth in maintaining the average temperature of the Earth. So from there a new concept came to us that yeah, greenhouse effect is something that we need to really keep it on, and that will save our planet. But by the 1970s, what we have imagined is that the greenhouse effect has become a challenge to us, and now we are itself dealing with this, which is actually making our life very difficult to live on this planet. So there are so many consequences. I would like to give reference to some of them, which are the actually the consequences of the climate change. For example, as Simran rightly pointed out, that there will be the changes in the precipitation pattern with high rainfall or low rainfall, or such as uneven rainfalls, and there will be also a very frequent occurrence of the extreme weather events. For example, if you talk about droughts, floods, and etc. And since if you talk specifically about India, then we can see since India's most of the economy is based on the agriculture sector, so our lives are actually live within. So talking about the agriculture sector will be the most hit hard area of the India, and due to this there will be a reduce in the crops, and that will ultimately lead to food instability and insecurity, and that will result in the poverty of India as well. So there will be also several more consequences, such as if we talk about the increase in the or rise in the sea level due to the excessive heat, that will lead to the submerging of the coastal islands. For example, we have a very infamous example of Maldives, which is on the brink of being down to the in the ocean. So now here at this point, I would also like to give reference about a report presented by ILO, International Labour Organization, that deals actually about the economic consequences of the climate change. So it has predicted that by 2050, there will be approximately 2.2% cut down of the hours. That is, I'm talking about the working hour, that how we people work. So we will lose nearly 2.2% of the working hours. And also if we calculate at a global level, then we come to know that there will be loss of nearly 80 million full-time jobs all around the world. So that's really a matter of concern for all of us. And if we estimate the monetary value of this, then it will be nearly approximately 2400 US billion dollars. So that's a really huge amount, and that's the tension that we have to seek in through this. And if we look in the context of India, then as we all know that the due to the climate change, the Southeast Asian region will be the most affected region, and we are very unfortunate that India also lies within that Southeast Asian region. So if we talk about this, that due to the excessive occupational heat stress, and there will be loss of labor productivity, that India will be going to suffer in future due to the climate change. And at the same time, there will be also a loss of nearly 25 million jobs. Uh, Again, the same full-time jobs, and one thing more to be worrying about is that since India's economy is mostly based on the primary activities, including the agriculture. So agriculture will be the most hardest hit areas of this due to this climate change. For example, there will be loss of nearly 9.04% of the working hours, and that will lead to the suffering to the farmers who are the actually the backbone of this country. And I would also like to give a reference of a study which was conducted in this same year in May 2020, which actually talks about the northwestern part of India, that is the uppermost part of India. And according to that, it says that by the end of the 21st century, the century in which we are living actually, that the glaciers of the Himalayas and all those will actually start melting due to the excessive heat, and that will cause a mass flooding of the areas of northwestern India, including the parts of Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, northern Rajasthan, and all those. So it's a matter of concern, and it also said that the summers will be more colder than the winter. So we can see these excessive or extreme weather events that we are going to have in the future. So that's really a future is actually doom in itself, but we have to counter some of the measures that I'll be discussing later. So now I'll be talking about the air that we say is the backbone for living us, and it is very essential for breathing and inhaling process. So as we all know that if we make a prediction that how the air will be like in the year 2050, or say somewhat 60-50 years after today, so we can say that the air will definitely not be like the same as we are having today for breathing, but it after for some time we can say that it will be really heavy, and will be warmer and will be clogged with particulate pollution that will definitely choke our lungs while breathing. So every time when we are suppose we are leaving our house to go outside, we will be checking the air quality index every time to in order to go outside. So that's really a what we say, it's a mental fatigue to us also to go out and by checking the air quality index and then doing our work according to that. Actually, in order to humanize the nature, we are actually destroying the nature to its greater extent. So now I will be saying some of the measures, because if anything that can be measured, that can be also managed too. So if I talk about the measures, what we can do at our level or at any level, for example, first of all, what we have to say is that the climate change is actually not a distant phenomenon. That's really a big misconception, I would say. And because what people think is that climate change is actually a distant phenomenon, but no, climate change is actually happening now, and we have to keep our eyes open and to look after in it. Because if we are not aware today, then future will be really doom and not so bright. And if we look at the international level, there have been so many governments, such as, for example, if we talk about recently, Boris Johnson, the President of United Kingdom, he presented 10 points regarding the climate change and to counter these things. For example, he included various things. For example, he said that United Kingdom will be reducing 68% of the greenhouse emissions by 68% by 2030. So that is actually a good step towards the climate change. And the same also we same news come also from the New Zealand, where the president said prime minister said that they will be actually becoming carbon free by 2030. They will be becoming carbon neutral country by 2030. So it's a really positive sign that the countries are pioneering something towards a global good or something like that. And uh, what we can now do at individual level is that we can promote green and clean fuels in our vehicles in order to have daily accommodative life with respect to our nature. And there's one more misconception is that since as Snigdha said that in India only 30% of the people are aware of the climate change. So awareness is also a very key key thing in which we can motivate people regarding the climate change. And
Absolutely. Absolutely, Rajat, I agree with you. But the most important point that I felt that you spoke about was the agricultural sector, because we usually tend to miss it. So with that,
Yeah.
I'd like to go to Mansi Singh and would like to ask her views on the same. Like, what does she think about it?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so greeting everyone. I am Mansi and I'm speaking on the topic about the future of climate change. So, in my view, the climate change is rising very quickly. According to me, climate change is just too much, and there is never any good news. Only graphs are getting more worse and red. We all know that almost every year breaks some horrible records from the harshest heat wave to the most rapid glacier wind. Also, we know from decades that the rapid change has caused the release of greenhouse gases, and also instead of reducing, the world are emitting more CO2. So, ever since evolution has taken place, humans are continuously using nature for their benefits. This has resulted in huge carbon dioxide content in the environment and other harmful material in the atmosphere and water. The regular use of fossil fuel has not led to the complex exhaustion of it. The constant exploitation of natural resource and not taking any significant steps to make the situation better has ultimately resulted in the accumulation of harmful gases in the environment. The ozone layer depletion caused by the ozone layer depletion that is caused by the greenhouse gases is due to the climate change only. But the question is, why is it so hard to stop the emission of these gases? So according to me, I think that CO2 is rising because the rise of population and economic growth. People need food, clothes, home, and they also demand luxurious product. They want to travel in flights and they want to eat red meat. So it is more like it's like more people and then more emission of CO2. So because of population growth and economic growth, humanity CO2 emission is increasing, and we need to slow it. Now, another point that I think which cannot be ignored is climate change. That climate change exposure. I think that climate change exposes future generation to lifelong health harms. I think major global studies has found that child born today face multiple lifelong health harm from climate change, growing up in the warmer world with risk of food, infectious diseases, flood, and extreme health. Climate change is already harming people's health by increasing the number of extreme weather event and air pollution also. And if nothing is done to mitigate it, its impact could burden the entire generation and with diseases and illness throughout their lives. But I don't think that this is too late because global economy now realizes that one must contribute towards a sustainable future. According to Global Carbon Project, the worldwide greenhouse gas emission almost reached, I think, 37 billion metric tons in 2019, marking yet another high, even though the rate of increase has slowed slightly. A lot of product and solution concerned with realizing the green agenda exists now as it was in past industry. In particular, the chemical sector has great ideas. The one of the example is a new high-tech plastic compound that can make wind power plant considerably more efficient and more economical in production to bring them on a par with fossil energy sources. The first such turbines are already exist in China. So what matters, according to me, what matters is to be a part of solution and take real steps. No matter whether the steps are small or big, what matters is you should take an initiative. So I think that's all from my side.
Agreed, Mansi, totally right. Initiatives is very important because once we take the first step, only then can we inspire people to take the next steps. So, Ria, I've been watching you and you've been waiting and all thrilled about what you have to say next. So, it's all yours and please
All
inspire us.
right, thank you, Akshita. A very good morning to respected dignitaries and the panelists present here. My name is Ria Jain and I am from Bhopal. I feel very privileged to be a part of such a discussion which is really the need of the hour. This decade is a moment of choice unlike we have ever lived. Today, at the global level, we face a rapidly accelerating climate emergency daunting because we have procrastinated way too long. There are multiple tipping points within the broader topic of climate change. Interconnected risks such as melting down of glaciers, declining water availability, deforestation, for flooding and landslides in both urban and rural areas due to extreme precipitation, the spread of vector-borne diseases in altitude and latitude, decreased food production are some of the key results of climate change, which really needs to have an eye on. The greatest threat to humans will not be the form of nuclear weapons, but from the climate change in the next 10 years, says the Global Economic Report of the World Economic Forum. So the concept of having a stubborn optimism and the mindset that is really necessary to transform the reality we are given into the reality we want is much needed, because what I believe is any reality we are given is not a setting stone. We can change it. If we cut our current greenhouse emissions in half over the next 10 years, we open the door to an exciting world where the cities are green, the air is clean, energy and transport are efficient. Jobs in a fair economy are abundant, and forests, soils, and waters are regenerated. A globally coordinated response, such as international policies and agreements between countries, a push to cleaner forms of energy, and local efforts on the city and regional level are much required. So, Yuva has always known to be vocal on such an important topic. Therefore, in radical collaboration to that, I also invite each one of you to ask yourself, what is the future you want and what are you doing to make that future a reality? Thank you so much.
So Akshat, I want to chip in, and we welcome Alifia, our national chair for climate change. Alifia has always voiced Yuva's involvement in the projects which Vaya has been leading. Welcome, Alifia. I think she has some network issue. Yes, welcome, Alifia.
Thank you so
And we welcome you on behalf of Delhi, Dehradun, Pune, Bhopal, with the Yuva exciting Yuva people, and we are very keen to hear you and to have your few thoughts on Yuva involvement with climate change.
Good morning, everybody, and I'm so glad to be here. In fact, I was a little bit trying to follow you guys on Facebook, but not much. And I think I did miss a lot of you saying some awesome things about climate change, and I really hope to, if I can catch it again. I'm sure I can. Anuj, if you can get me the link, I can hear what all amazing things that you've said. And in fact, today morning I was just reading in the papers that as far as the climate change index goes, India is at number 10, which means we're doing considerable work as compared to a lot of countries across the globe. And we are number 10. And I think I would attribute that number 10 position to all of you guys, because you are the youth and you are a lot of people. Okay. And if you are thinking the right way, and if you're doing the right things, and if you're having you're great thought leaders also in your own respect. And if you're doing the right things, I'm sure we are going to be arresting the ill effects of climate change. And I think that is the reason we have gradually gone up to the number 10th position in the World Climate Change Index. And I really hope that you do this. It's a rallying call that we all need to address the ill effects of climate change. And in fact, today morning, when I woke up, I think all of you must have noticed in your respective cities, if not now, but sooner or later you will. When I got up in the morning, I really could, the visibility was less than approximately 50 meters. I won't even 50 meters, 25 meters. And I think the defect has come in, where we are seeing a lot of smog right now in winters. And I'm sure you will all will be seeing as the days progress. And what also caught my attention today morning was November was the hottest month in the entire decade, or if I would say probably till now. It's been the hottest month, and I think there has been a 0.1 degree increase in temperature in the month of November, the average temperature in the month of November. So I think this is also a kind of a good indication as to, or I would say a very important indication as to, we definitely need to address climate change right now. And with the kind of work that you guys are doing, and I'm yet to hear what all amazing stuff that you have said, but I've had the privilege of being part of the youth dialogue when it happened, when Anuj organized it earlier in the year, and some outstanding work. I have seen their white papers also as to how they're wanting to address climate change. So I wish you all the best, and I look forward to interacting with you whenever possible next on how you plan to address the climate change. So all the best to you, and I'm grateful and I'm very thankful that you all have become a part of this, because you thought about climate change, because it's not like it's not going to affect us. It is affecting us as we talk. Okay, and the fact that you are here today morning and talking about is a very good testament that yes, you are taking the climate change as an important, very important part of your life, and you are trying to do your bit to ensure that we actually arrest the ill benefits of climate change. So thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you for being part of this awesome show. Thank you so much, Anuj.
Thank you, Alifia. It has been a lot which you have thought for the year, and it's really nice to hear that India coming number 10. We are the top 10, so we definitely have to move forward, and Yuva is the hope and the future to take it forward. You have been always voicing for the Yuva, and I really thank you. In a very short notice, you made it to be here in this panel. Our show is always available on our Via Bhopal Facebook page. Anytime you can go back and hear every one of them. It's so nice to connect with the students from Delhi, Pune, Dehradun, and definitely our host chapter Bhopal. So Alifia, really I thank you, and I would over to you, Akshita. If you want to say something to Alifia before she leaves, or if she wishes to stay.
Thank you so much, sir. We welcome you, ma'am. It's been an immense honor to have you on the panel. And definitely, when we hear you, we understand the motivation and the encouragement that you want us to have, that you want to incorporate in us. So I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for being the backbone of something very important in today's world, and especially our country. We thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thank you. So do we end here, Anuj, or this goes on? It's an entire day's event?
No. We have a 1 hour discussion around, so people have put their voices. Now Akshita will go back and put some thoughts. Even if you have some thoughts, Alifia, you can ask the panel about anything in a popcorn style. If anything which you think as something which Yuva can do, and have their thoughts. So these are the people who have taken climate change as something with their passion.
So within the youth fraternity, what do you all think? What is impacting you the most, and what are you all actually focusing on is what I wanted to understand as far as the youth is concerned. Because there's so many things, climate change is a huge umbrella under which so many things comes. But as a youth, I'm sure you're focused on certain pockets of it. But what is it that is actually touching in you, what you want to work towards? What is it that has actually touched you and which you're going to be working towards?
Ma'am, I'd like to answer that.
Yes,
being an engineer and being in the technical field, it has made me realize that technology can be used in order to uplift the environment which has been going down because of the human activities and deteriorating. So the most important concept is the contrast between global warming and the climate change. Once we realize that it is the climate change that is affecting us, we'll be able to reduce global warming. When we say global warming, we just address the problem. But when we say climate change, we realize that it's affecting us. So being an engineer, being a person who's more inclined towards technology, we are finding a way in our fields where we can help uplift the environment at the same time. So we can bring about a positive climate change rather than just addressing it. So we are sharing our solutions on the same.
So exactly. Thank you so much. I just wanted to understand that as a focus, which area are you planning to address? Which area in particular? So as an engineer, are you looking at green buildings? As an engineer, how are you looking at ensuring that there is a less of carbon footprint? How are you addressing it in your own specific domain? How are you looking at as an individual?
It is in basically reducing the levels of methane in the environment. As I said, global warming. So how chlorofluorocarbons can be reduced? How can we install solar panels in different buildings? How can we use technology? For example, Black Google, you must have heard about it. It is reducing the lighting power that it's emitting while we operate on the internet. So these are some small steps that we can take in our everyday lives, but most people are not aware about it. So this is a basically advertisement come awareness program that helps people know about it. So that's what I'm actually working for.
So that's lovely, because if you're looking at the awareness point of view, I think it's important because not many people are aware of it. How many people are aware that November was the warmest month till date? okay, in centuries. It's been the warmest month. So I think awareness is a very big key, because still now, at least for from the age group that I come from, we think that climate change is not going to affect us, and climate change, very honestly, will not affect our immediate generation. It's going to probably affect somebody 30 years from now. So why bother, get bothered? So I think that awareness is the key. So whatever you can do about awareness, and it has to be hard hitting awareness when I'm talking about. It has to be hard hitting so that people will take notice of it. It's just not a fleeting thing, or it's just not a fleeting news or a fleeting comment. It has to be hard hitting. So please, guys, make your awareness campings, whatever you do, make it very hard hitting, so that people actually get up, take notice of it, and actually pledge to do something about it. I think what is extremely important now is every person being aware, be cognizant of what is happening, and actually pledge in their own little way as to, okay, from 2021, let's say, okay, this new year, we know that 2020 is a challenge. This 2021 has given us an opportunity to be alive, to be thriving. So, what is it that this year we are going to do for climate change? Let it be a resounding pledge across the nation, and let everyone take a pledge in their own way, be it planting of trees, be it water conservation, you name it. So, I think that's a campaign that you can start. That 2021 is the year of taking a pledge for climate change. So, try it this way. It's going to be a big movement where
Absolutely, ma'am.
imagine every citizen pledging. Okay, if every citizen is pledging, imagine the kind of revolution we're going to bring as far as the climate change is concerned. So think about it, and you can probably fine tune it better or come out with another idea. But anyways, thanks for sharing.
You're very welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now we have different sets of questions for our panel members. So first question would be in context with what I just said. Like, how can climate change be minimized with the help of technology? You being the young minds of India, we being the young minds of India. So why not encourage the same within us? So Snigdha, Rajat, and Riya, I would like you to please share your views on the same.
Who's going first?
Snigdha.
Okay, I can go first. Okay. As the technologies have scaled up and converted energy more efficiently, they have come down in price too. Like, they have come down in price to become cheaper than fossil fuels globally. And even with the whole corruption and the government not being able to work in an efficient manner, like, besides all these obstacles, technology still has been progressing, and we all can see that, like, the single most effective technological solution to climate change is going to be reducing energy consumption as well, like overall energy consumption overall. And nothing is going to do more than making homes more energy efficient. Like, the technology to achieve this is already here. This is already there. Like, many of the newest products in the market are capable of saving lots of energy. Like, new products are capable of saving a lot of energy. And also, as I mentioned in my speech earlier, that technology can create awareness. Through technology, we can localize the national policies made by government. We can localize those national policies by bringing the guidance to each and everybody, even in the rural places, by using several forms of technology like telephone, computer, and internet is available in all the rural places now. So we can localize the national policies made by government to local people. We can aware them, and awareness is the first step. Like, if you're taking baby steps towards climate change, awareness is the key. And people are very much less aware in India, especially. And as ma'am said, and as Alicia ma'am said, that people are not aware about that. And even if they are aware about it, they are not concerned, because they think they are not going to face the problems, and their generation is not going to face the problem. And the people who will face the problem, let them find the solution, and it's obviously not correct. So we can use technology to aware people to start saving energy from our homes first. Okay, that's all I had to
Perfect,
say.
Snigdha. It's totally right that we need to look at the human race as a single particular species, because we want us to survive and go towards sustainable development rather than just thinking about our own life. We need to think about the future generations as well. So I agree with you. What about you, Rajat? What do you have to say?
Yeah, so as far as technology is concerned in regards to the climate change, that how it will be beneficial. in eradicating these such problems. So first of all, we have to understand is that technology is actually a boon for us, and with the help of the technological innovation, we can actually counter this problem. And for example, if we look at the fume gas which is used in ACs or refrigerators, so we know that they are actually harmful for our environment. So we know that they are actually harmful for our environment. But isn't that we are buying less fridges or so isn't it like just we are not buying the fridges or ACs? No, actually we are even buying more. So what's the thing is that we are actually shifting towards the alternative methods of the technology. How can they be used? For example, if we look at in this decade, there's a more focus on the installation of solar panels, hydroelectricity projects, and all those things. And recently, India has recently done a lot of work in this field. So they are actually mixing the human intelligence and the technology in these things to counter the climate change. And really, India is looking forward on these issues and hope all these things will work in the future and will save us from the greater, what we say, the ominous disaster which we are having to face in the future. Yeah, that's all.
Absolutely. The better methods with better technology, which helps us save environment, would also help us use technology and save environment at the same time. So I think that's a very practical approach towards the problem. So thank you so much, Rajat. Ria, we're waiting for your views on the same.
Yeah, ma'am. I just want to express my views on the same topic. The challenge of climate crisis can be viewed as an opportunity for providing thinkers and tech entrepreneurs for bringing the modern innovative approach. So when we talk about the term climate change, the carbon footprint is the keyword which makes a great reference in it. A carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gas emissions that come from activities such as fuel combustion during vehicular transportation, power generation, emits large quantities of carbon dioxide to the environment. Moreover, construction operations and other industrial operations have also been recognized as major carbon emission sources. So, as we all are aware of a term, that is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is one of the radar of anyone following paradigm shifting tech today. AI excels at pattern recognition and making predictions. The energy consumptions can be managed with the help of that. For example, by smart home solutions that charge your car or do your laundry when there is a renewable energy available. Also, in the industrial sector too, AI can be used to optimize processes that require electricity. For example, the tech giant Microsoft has found an effective solution in reference to this emerging problem, that is self-sufficient underwater data centers steered with AI. They are cooled by the ocean and powered by the wave energy. And now just imagine that if similar systems are implemented in all industries, what a considerable amount of CO2 emissions could be avoided. Also, in designing a sustainable product, one has to take into an account of significant number of factors like abundancy, toxicity, and properties of raw materials, regulations, etc. AI can assist in the design of new sustainable products and technologies. CO2 emissions can be avoided or even reversed. Younger generation, however, seem to be clued into the reality that there are indeed climate solutions to this global problem. Machine learning can incorporate all the constraints, go over the possible materials and configuration, and propose the optimal combination. In this way, technical sector can stand as a great pillar in marking the downfall of the climate change. That's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Ria. So the next question would be, what can you as Yuva do in order to uplift the environment and improve the climate change in a positive direction? Simran?
According to me, I guess the main aim, like talking of the increased amount of greenhouse gases which are released in the environment, we can do our part by recycling, reusing more and more. And also then air pollution is again one of the major factors that lead to an increase in these gases. So we can minimize the use of cars and make use of public transport, like or try walking or cycling whenever possible. These are the simple basic steps like we can contribute. And also again, deforestation being another concern. Planting trees, we can start it like from our home. uh, and as we all know that trees are the trees, they help to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So I guess there is an urgent need, like everyone should plant trees more and more. Then what I think is water conservation is also like very necessary. We all have learned somewhere, like at some point of time in our schools, by following these simple steps, like to make sure to turn off the taps while brushing, going for shorter showers, and like uh, yeah, we shouldn't also waste water by washing cars or bikes. Like I have seen many people doing that. They usually waste a lot of water while they're washing their vehicles. So I guess this is it. And again, yeah, also lastly, spreading awareness is the most important step of all. Like we can speak up openly about global warming, its consequences, like how the climate is changing, and what steps can be taken to prevent it with the family, friends, and wherever we go and meet new people. Also using the social media to voice out our concerns and opinions about climate change. So I guess these are the following steps, like we can these are the steps we can follow. uh, Lastly, I would like to share a quote by Barack Obama, that change won't come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we have been waiting for, and we are the change that we seek. Thank you. That's
Very,
all.
very inspirational, Simran. I totally agree with all the points. And most importantly, when you're talking about social media, I cannot help but remember how YI Bhopal keeps on posting posts and organizing different activities for the same, for the upliftment of the environment. So that's something very, very encouraging. And it's only because of the Yuva in this team and, of course, the amazing, amazing mentors that we're able to do so. Mansi, I would like you to please share your thoughts on the same.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I totally agree with all the points that Simran has said. According to me, also, every work can take small steps. Like we know that greenhouse gas emissions are produced when we use electricity and gas. So just turn off the lights, don't use the LED light bulbs, and wash your clothes and dry them outside in the sunlight. And a person should plant more and more trees. These are the common things. Now, I think that climate change is likely to have impact on water resources also. So just collect rainwater and use it to water to the garden and for the other household task. Now, the other thing is that walk or cycle instead of using the cars and bikes, because it is, walk or cycle, it is free, has less impact on environment and good for the health also. A person can use public transport also. I think that a person should also stop their vehicles on the traffic lights. That will not cause much air pollution. So I think that as a yuva, know everywhere. Matlab, as a yuva, everyone knows that from where the gas emission are coming from. So take action against them. Think like we are the last generation that can end the climate change. And yes, we can and we will. The most important thing is spread the information, convince your close ones to take small steps, and tell them to convince their small close ones to take that small steps. So these are all the things that we can do as a yuva. That's all from my side.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mansi. It's been an amazing, amazing discussion, and it's been a delight listening you all, along with the same enthusiasm and mentioning some very important topics and solutions that we can put forward as you are. I'd like to thank the panelists and most importantly Anuj Garg sir, who gave us the space to speak and the platform to express ourselves. Thank you so much for that. And the most important name that we are missing today is Shreya Bansal, the Yuva chair for climate change. Ellen City, and we are literally missing her. So we wish that she was here, but due to her health, she's not. So we thank her also. Sir, I would like you to please conclude the same.
So we should conclude by starting a new beginning of acting, spreading awareness and advocacy for climate change. It is not what change we can bring, but around us, even a small efforts or small steps which we can take for the for the environment, for climate change, that will be a role model. So be a role model for yourself, Mansi, Snigdha, Simran, Ria, Rajat, and Akshita, along with Shreya. So if you guys feel that yes, in our life we'll try to do something for the environment, there will be a lot change which will come across. So I believe that whatever a small seed gives a huge plant, and it gives further fruits which creates a lot of seeds. So it goes in a similar fashion. So your interest for climate change, your passion, and the change which you can bring definitely will be witnessed in future. So thank you so much for putting your voice, and I really thank the chapters from Pune, Delhi, Dehradun, and the host Bhopal, our YI climate change chair Kuhu Sharma. And throughout the year, we have been trying to voice for the climate change. And definitely, as Alifia has said, our national chair who was on the talk show on the panel, our Yuva chair for Bhopal, Geet. So Alifia, what she has said for this coming new year, let's try to bring 2021 onwards, a year where we live in balance with nature. And thank you for the women power, for the girls power in the show. You guys were terrific, and listening to your every word would drive our chapter and others for climate change. So. All the very best, and the future belongs to you. That is all from my side. Thank you, Akshita, for hosting and coming up, taking this so beautifully. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone, and we conclude with that. Today's day was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.